Hello everyone and welcome
Hi,
along to round... Oh, sorry, are we okay, yeah? Are we okay, James?
yeah, carry on.
Oh, sorry. Yes, hello everyone and welcome along to round 7 of the ILR1 Xbox Championship here from the legendary Spa circuit here in Belgium. Without doubt, it is one of the best racetracks on the entire Formula 1 calendar with its incredible corners, the great Eau Rouge and Pouhon and the bus stop and Blanchimont. So many great corners and so many great races down the year as well. And as always, I've got the pleasure of having James alongside me. Diablo, James, another cracking race in store, isn't it?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this race. I mean, if Britain's anything to go by, like most races this year, we're going to always go off the last race. It's going to be a pretty mega race, but this, I feel, this track really does separate the men from the boys. I'm afraid it is such a fantastic circuit. If there's one thing I want to see tonight, Andy, it's a move around the outside on oh Christ, the corner name.
Blanchimont.
It's the one where Blanchimont. That's the one. That's where I want to be seeing some overtakes tonight. So, with any luck, we'll get those overtakes in here tonight. But let's wait and see. A few times going on the board early doors. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm sure we will in ILR1 Xbox. We always seem to see overtakes in every single corner on the racetrack as the OMG It's Joe goes up to the top of the timesheets, a 1 minute 43.162. Now, I was speaking to the drivers in the paddock before this weekend and during practice, and they said that a mid 1 minute 42, around a 142.5, 142.4 might be what is required to take pole position here this weekend. So we'll keep an eye on that. We've got TRL Martin coming round the final corner now and heading for the line to complete his first lap of the section. It's an unspectacular, by his incredibly high standards, 1 minute 43.491. Now, of course, the World Championship standings, we are reaching towards the climax of this season. It's round 7 now, out of 10 races over the course of this season. And TRL Martin, the man we're on board with right now, is at the very top of those driver standings. He has got 97 points, a 15-point lead over CRL Rosberg in second. Danny is third, 18 points off the top spot. Then a little bit of a gap, 30 points off the top is Joe in fourth. Then it's TOR Leopard in the Renault in fifth. EVR Morso, who is not with us tonight, is sixth in the standings. Then it's the Super Swede Drawmaster. He sits seventh in the drivers' standing. Mike Marshmallow is eighth. TR Apex is ninth. And Ghost Crab rounds out the top 10 in the standings. It's a really close title fight, James, isn't it? Can you predict a winner at this stage, or is it too early to call?
Oh, I've got to be honest, this is the biggest gap we've had in the championship, I believe, since Bahrain. I don't think the gap's actually ever been as big as it is now. It's 15 points, and that's not even that big, is it? That's nothing, really. I mean, a mistake this race could cost you dear. Let's say, for example, the man second, Rosberg, in the championship, if he wins tonight and Martin finishes third, that's a 5-point gap again. So it's so incredibly close. I don't want to put my finger on it, but if I'm going to be honest with these guys, someone is going to have to come out top trumps to beat TRL Martin this season. He looks phenomenal when he's on it.
Yeah, he does. He's really quick, TRL Martin. He's won the last 2 races. In fact, he's won 3 of the 6 races that he has competed in thus far. 3 of the 5 races he's competed in. He's not even competed in the opening races, so he's certainly the man to beat at the moment. As TOR Leopard, unseen by myself, has gone to the top of the timesheets, a 143 flat for the Renault driver, the young upstart who's really starting to come along in his career. And I don't know what you think, James, but I certainly think in the future TOR Leopard, once he's of age to join eSports, could be a real threat to a lot of drivers, couldn't he?
Definitely could be. He's got the pace at the moment. We've seen it in other leagues as much as this one. He's definitely got something about it. But I think the one thing that he needs to improve upon, if we're going to be blunt, is just getting his elbows out a bit too much. You know, being a bit too pushy. He just needs to calm it down a little bit more, and I'm sure that guy will be a fantastic driver. I'm not going to criticise the guy because he is, ultimately, he's fantastic. But there are limits in league racing, and sometimes they're pushed with his driving standards. I can't sit here and criticise, but like I say, just a little something that I think could be improved on over this season and potentially for years to come as well. But it's very good to see these, doing as well as he is, I suppose.
Yeah, he's right up there at the top of the timesheets, and I'd have to tend to agree with you. Sometimes he gets involved in a few too many incidents, but at a young age, I mean, we see it with Max Verstappen as well in real life Formula One. He gets involved in incidents quite a lot that stop him from reaching his full potential, but I'm sure he'll iron those out and he'll become a better all-round driver. He certainly has the speed, and it has to be said, James, if you've got the raw talent, the speed, then that's more than half the battle, isn't it? I mean, you can clean up your driving style after, but if you don't have the raw talent, you can't do it. That's it. So he's certainly got the main thing you need, doesn't he?
Absolutely, he's a very ballsy driver, is the way I'm going to word it. He loves an overtake. He's not scared of making any overtakes, which is what you want. That is an out-and-out racer, someone who doesn't, they don't want to give an inch, but they also want to be fair. I suppose it's the fairness that comes a part of it, but at least he's, thinking of going for these moves that perhaps others wouldn't. That's a good trait to have. If you can't make overtakes, you're not going to be the fastest driver on the track, are you? So eventually you will have to, and you've only got to learn from the best. And I suppose in a tier like this, he's doing very good to see. A few cars now, we're going to see the second runs in this qualifying session.
Yeah, and actually, I'm just riding on Bobby George, who's just totally dropped the car going through Rivage, that tricky downhill right-hander, which usually creates a lot of understeer for the drivers in that corner. He's ended up with a huge kick of oversteer and lost the rear and gone spinning. That is not going to do his brand new set of ultra soft tyres any good, and he gets back in his way. Not an ideal outlap for him, but as you say, James, we are on outlaps before the final runs in the session. Just how much time are these drivers going to gain out there? I'm going to try and pick up the driver who is going to be furthest round the racetrack at the moment to get a lap in. Who is that? I believe Martin might be that man. So here he is, TRL Martin, your championship leader, a 15-point advantage, who's won 3 out of his 5 races so far this season. Slowly coming down into that final bus stop chicane. And look at that, taking the widest possible line on the way into the corner to try and open it up. And here comes Martin across the start-finish line to start a lap of this superb Belgian Grand Prix circuit. Hits the brakes down into second gear for La Source, and then onto the exit where we've seen an enormous shunt all the way back in 1998, where several drivers had a humongous pile-up, and then for no words needed for this. Look at that, flat out through Eau Rouge. And these 2017 cars, it used to be a challenge back in the day, not so now. DRS now opening up for TRL Martin. We'll see a lot of overtakes in the race down this Chemo Straight now. Braking hard into the chicane, through this tricky chicane, and then back up through the gears through Malmedy. And then now down towards Rivage, where Gosh had his moment on that previous lap, locking up the right front as he heads through. TRL Martin looking to go down into the mid 1 minute 42s. That's what he believes will be enough for the pole position, down through No Name, now into this probably the most challenging corner on the racetrack these days. He's backed off, has he? Yes, he has. Good spot there, James. And TRL Martin backing out of that lap just as he was approaching the high-speed Pouhon corner, which for me, James, is the most challenging corner on the circuit these days.
Absolutely, that's a big moment though in terms of the championship race. If he can't get round in time, he's had it. He can only start as best 5th.
You're right.
So at the minute he needs to pull a lap together. This is a big moment in this session. He needs to find out now who's actually still on a lap. Danny, one of the championship rivals of him, of course, is coming through and just about to pass him as they come down towards I'm forgetting the name, Stavolo this is, and towards the ever-present. Let's see what Danny can do on this lap, though. Looking very strong in the Force India. Yeah, he is. Down comes the Force India Mercedes, flying through Blanchimont, the Pink Panther on the march. What can he do about TRL Martin, who has seen the checkered flag? You can see it on the left-hand side. Yeah. He's not been able to get to the checkered flag to do another lap, so he's down to 6th immediately. Just Dralix goes 5th. What can Danny M7 do? One of his championship contenders. He can only go 6th quickest, and only 1 place ahead of his rival. The 2 Williams cars have backed out of their laps. Who else is quickly approaching the finish line as I try to scramble to find someone? King 38, WOR King, rounding that bus stop chicane. He's currently 9th quickest. Leopard's gone off.
Leopard has abandoned his lap. Here comes King for the line. He goes up to 3rd. 3rd quickest for the Haas driver. We've got Joe going again. Reynolds goes 2nd now. The time's changing all the time. Now we're right on board with OMG. It's Joe. Quite incredibly, we have got a situation where Martin is down in 10th and Danny is down in 8th. Still no time from Rosberg. We wait for one from him. What about Joe? He's 4th in the standings and he's coming into the pits, and it's going to be 3rd for him. Where is Rosberg? He's at Stavolo.
Yeah, Alonso's just coming round to finish his attempt as he enters the Bostov chicane and down towards his main straight, and he only goes 5th quickest. This is a sensational qualifying session. Drawmaster's the next to take the checkered flag.
So let's have a look at the Super Swede. Where will he go? He comes into the pits. Both Williams cars backed out of their laps. So incredibly, TOR Leopard still in position for pole. As Mike Marshmallow hits the line, he's currently 11th. He moves up to 6th. But where is Sionel Rosberg? We need to catch him. Where's he gone? Where'd he go?
13th.
13th.
14th.
14th. Goodness me.
Oh, goodness me.
Rounds off the most dramatic qualifying session I think I've ever seen. What is going on there? How have they only managed to do a 43 flat? Leopard will not be able to believe his luck, how he's still on pole position. And that pole position is a 1 minute 43 flat. And look how close the field is. The top 11 separated by 4/10 of a second. That is absolutely ridiculous how close they are. You've got between 6th and 9th, there's about 1/10. Wow, really, really crazy how tight that is, James, isn't it? What a session. Topsy-turvy.
Absolutely. I want to give some honourable mentions out there. WR King in P4. What a lap from the Haas. He's put himself there. To be fair to Reynolds, that isn't a bad lap to go into P2. I'm looking at the likes of Mike as well. I think that must be his best qualifying position of the season. Gutting for people such as Rosberg, Danny and Martin. It's absolutely incredible that none of them have got in, and even the top 8, it's scenes we're witnessing in the top tier of ILR. But look at them standings, and take us through, Andy.
Yeah, wow, absolutely incredible. It's TOR Leopard who takes the pole position for Renault with that 143 flat. When he abandoned his lap, there was probably no way he'd have thought he'd have found himself staying there. EVR Reynolds goes 2nd for Ferrari, what a result for him. OMG, it's Joe in 3rd. 4th in the standings. With his rivals so far down the field, he knows this is a real chance to get back in the title fight. King is 4th, Alonso 5th, Mike Marshmallow 6th, it's Drawmaster 7th, Dralex 8th, and Danny was down in 9th. Goodness me, what an incredible situation. Danny 9th, and Martin and Rosberg outside of... What was that? Outside of the top 10, all 3 of them? I think they
top 10, yeah, the top 10.
Goodness me, I would never have ever thought that would have happened. That is quite sensational, and that just shows you how this first season of ILR on Xbox has been taking shape. So competitive, so difficult to judge, and lo and behold, you've got WR King in 4th position. You've got Reynolds sharing the front row with Leopard, and it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy, and I can't wait to see how these guys come charging through the field, but it does look as if Sunday has greeted us with some decent weather, James, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. Just like to point out as well that actually people like Martin and Rosberg, they're going to be caught up in that midfield carnage. Watch out for that as we go through the first lap. It's something to keep an eye on. But we're getting ready though, Andy, for the start of this Belgian Grand Prix. Yeah,
we're not moments away now from the start of this Grand Prix. I believe we will have a formation lap, and we will get to find out what tyres those guys outside the top 10 have chosen to go
straight
on.
to 5 red lights.
Straight to 5 red lights. Okay then, so the 5 red lights are on, and we are racing here in Belgium. Leopard leads away from pole. Reynolds pulling alongside in the run to turn 1. A good start from Joe in the pack. Is he going to get that move on Reynolds into turn 1? They go side by side. It looks like it's pretty clean as you go further down through the field, and it looks like Joe is now pulling alongside the Ferrari on the run down towards Eau Rouge. It's still Leopard and the Renault leading them up the hill. Reynolds 2nd, Joe in 3rd, and Alonso in 4th, James.
Look at Reynolds. He's going side by side with Leopard as they head down towards the Kemmel Straight, and this is going to be a big old move. Got Joe coming down the middle on the inside. Here he goes again. Then there's nearly 4 wide into one corner. Surely not round the outside. Reynolds, he can't do it. Joe's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix. What a move that was.
Unbelievable. Reynolds completely overcooked it. Looked like he was going to take the lead. Gone wide, and the parting of the seas for Joe. He sweeps into the lead. Leopard 2nd, Reynolds 3rd, and Mike Marshmallow is up in 4th position. Incredible start to this race. I'm going to try and get those crucial tyre choices up on your screen. The top 9 then, all on the Ultrasoft. But what a start of the race. It's Leopard who's dropped down one. Joe is flying off the line up into the lead as he went 3 wide up at the top of the hill, and Joe slotted through into the lead. Leopard 2nd, Reynolds 3rd, Mike Marshmallow in 4th, with Alonso in 5th, with the Super Sweet Drawmaster all over his tail in 6th. What a start to this Belgian Grand Prix, James.
Absolutely, Martin's made up the most positions off the start though. He's already in P7, he's looking on the back of that Williams, looking really tasty, side by side with him through Stavelot. So he now entered Blanchimont. He's going to go for it early doors here, isn't he? Round the outside he goes through Blanchimont. Drawmaster will give him an inch. Can he do it all the way around the outside? Looks like he'll do it. Oh, what a move that is from Martin. Right on the outside of Drawmaster through Blanchimont. One of the Toro Rossos following them through. That's Apex on the inside. I'm sure he's not made contact there with King, who actually had a god-awful start, just didn't seem to get going. And then he's now side by side as they've gone the run down to the source. What a move. Okay, he's got the move done, Apex, but what a brilliant move from Martin in the Sauber. Tremendous.
Yeah, Apex has lost one place there and he's going to lose another. And CRL Hamilton, who started right down at the back of the field, is up 9 places now as he goes side by side through Rouge. Oh, goodness me! Huge oversteer moment. And where is King gone? He's still side by side. Unbelievable. The two of them up the hill were banging wheels at the top of the crest. And CRL Hamilton has got the move done. And look at Hayden trying to find a way past King as well. And King is dropping like a stone through the field. He now drops.
Oh, Lepers on the inside of Joe into turn 10. He's, oh goodness me, nearly got the move done actually. I'm sorry to cut across, but Leopard nearly made a move on Joe as they enter turn 10. And this is crazy scenes.
This is just a typical pattern of an ILR race. You don't know where to look. Incredible how far King has dropped down the order. He started in 4th place, remember. He's now down in 11th as Leopard really starts to mount an attack on the back of Joe as they go through the Fagnes chicane for the second time out of 22. And wow, what a start to this race. I cannot believe that Hamilton is 9th already after just 2 laps. Not even 2 laps. How has he started so well and on this super soft tyre? That is absolutely incredible how he's gained so many places. Martin as well has gained a lot of places, and I think it would be a good idea to pick up TRL Martin right now as he attacks Mike Marshmallow. You said in qualifying, James, I'd love to see a move around the outside. Well, that box was ticked on the opening lap by TRL Martin on Drawmaster as he has another look at the back of Mike Marshmallow. The top 6 really, really closely matched as we watch Alonso now right up behind AVR Reynolds, who started on that front row. Looked like he was going to take the lead running into turn 4, I believe it is, on this circuit up at Le Combe. Unable to make the move, ran wide and dropped back into that 3rd position that he's in now, and how he wishes he got that braking point spot on, because he's now under serious threat from Veloce Alonso. Remember, he just signed for Sauber F1 eSports, and that was I had a tear in my eye when I watched that in the pro draft. He and his brother both signing up for Sauber, but right now he's in a Toro Rosso and attacking AVR Reynolds. He's going to go down the inside as they reach the Combe. Down the Kemmel Straight they go, brakes a little bit later than the Ferrari, takes the place, and Alonso moves up into 3rd place and joins the battle for the lead, James. Textbook stuff, wasn't it?
Absolutely was. Just, you're right, textbook. There's no other word for it. No, Joe is holding now an absolute train of cars. I'm sure Danny is speaking with Mike right now and saying, keep Martin where he is. He's P6, he's behind Mike. He's only got to do, he's just got to defend like crazy now, Mike. He will want to go on the offensive, and actually he's not dropping off anybody. So he's got every right. He could still get a podium this race. It's still within question, but here goes Martin as they head down then towards the chicane. I don't think he'll get the move done there, and indeed he doesn't. But keep an eye on that. It's going to be a nice little scrap forming there.
Yeah, lots of action as Alonso is already on the tail of Leopard. He is really hungry to get this race under his belt, get the victory, returning of course. Had a little bit of a rough time of it, decided to back out of league racing for a while to concentrate on that pro draft, which of course was a success for him. Now he's looking to build up towards the finals events of F1 eSports, and he's really starting this Grand Prix in style. Right onto the tail of TOR Leopard he goes. Is there any way he can make a move? Leopard defending fresh air as they reach the braking zone, and Leopard coming into the pits already, and Reynolds slithering up the inside of Alonso and all that, and now they go side by side down towards turn 1. And is there going to be a move? It looks like not quite. Reynolds had a little sniff at Alonso, nearly found a way through, but it wasn't quite going to happen. So it's Joe in the lead, Alonso 2nd, Reynolds in 3rd, as Martin now gets right onto the tail of Mike Marshmallow. And is the Marshmallow about to be eaten up here by TRL Martin? The bonfire is beginning to burn, the Marshmallow's beginning to crispen up a little bit. Here comes Martin on the attack. He's going to have to go around the outside.
Reynolds on Alonso.
Reynolds on Alonso. He's going to try and sweep round the outside of Alonso. Good luck with that. And indeed, he needed good luck because he couldn't complete it. And Alonso holds on to that 2nd place. But Joe has stretched a 1.5 second lead out in front. Would you believe it, James?
Yeah, it's incredible. It didn't even look like he was going to do it because all the queue was seemingly forming behind him. But now all the queue is forming behind, looks like Reynolds in the Ferrari. So that's a big call, but it's also a big call from Leopard. Coming into the pits this early, that would suggest he's going to go straight onto that soft tyre and go to the end of the race. Martin running deep.
Yeah, very wide, and here comes Drawmaster, the super Swede, sense an opportunity here. He's a little look up the inside into the Fania chicane, but Martin is going to hold on to that position for just a little bit longer. In fact, he immediately switches his attention to Mike Marshmallow, but then runs a little bit wide himself. Look at this train of cars all fighting for the victory this afternoon. This is absolutely brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. So it's Joe in the lead by 1.3 seconds to Alonso in second. Then it's Reynolds in third, who is now seemingly the man that's holding the train behind, with Mike Marshmallow doing a superb job to hold his own in fourth, with TRL Martin, the championship leader, in fifth. Then the super Swede of Drawmaster is in sixth, and TR Apex seventh and Hamilton eighth, but the pit stops are coming. Reynolds is in, as is Drawmaster, James.
Absolutely right, and that's another big call from those guys as well. Also coming in quite early. I'm not sure whether that's early or not. I reckon you probably could get to the end, potentially on super soft tyres. You may be pushing it though. Danny is last at the moment. Rosberg is 17th. If that's going to tell you anything about this championship, it's completely open for you guys. This is going to be crazy, but those guys really need to get on with it during the course of this race. Watch Martin and Mike as they head down towards the chicane.
Just had a little look there. Leopard has re-emerged in front of EBR Reynolds crucially. Remember, Leopard pitted at the end of lap 2 and fitted a set of the soft compound tyre, and he has rejoined just in front of Reynolds and Drawmaster, which is absolutely crucial for his race this afternoon. So Leopard might still be the net leader of this one, by the way, with that early pit stop. He's around 6/10 ahead of AVR Reynolds. We'll need to keep an eye on that. Joe might actually have the upper hand. He and Alonso might be ahead of TOR Leopard when the pit stops funnel out. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But as you say, Rosberg and Danny, 17th and 18th, two of the title contenders, all the way down there. And we've got TR Apex off the road. I don't know if you caught that, James. He was off the road down at Pujon. Did you see it? No?
No, I didn't see it, but it's been a common theme actually. So many cars running right through Pujon. They're just trying to take too much, and the front end just can't deal with it because, of course, you have no front end grip when you're following a car in front. So it's not easy for them. Where's the WR King? He's currently in P7. Solid drive at the moment from him. Let's see what Joe and Alonso do. Will they come in on this lap? Indeed, they will. All of the top three come in. Oh, actually, say that. Martin stays out. That's a big call from Martin. Let's see just how well these Ultrasofts can fare in this race. Hamilton is second now, and Hayden will be the man who will come up to P3. What a great effort from him so far as well.
Yeah, I tell you, he's really bringing himself into place. See how Hamilton on those super soft tyres. He can really cause some problems in his second stint in this Grand Prix. Where is Leopard, by the way, in relation to Joe? That is important. Is he ahead or is he behind?
Oh, he's behind. He's behind. So
ahead.
Oh, in front. Sorry.
Ahead. Yeah, because that is Gouch further up the road, so Leopard holds on to his lead. But look at Joe, he's behind Reynolds, so he's lost a place there to Reynolds, but he's ahead of Alonso, so what the hell? Joe knows he needs to get this move done, having lost the lead, and now Reynolds is going to have to defend to the inside. Joe sweeps to the outside, fresh tyres on this Red Bull. Doesn't matter though, he's going to out-drag the Ferrari and get the move done as they approach Le Combe. Runs a little bit wide though, the Ferrari has a little sniff at the rear end, but there's no way through, and Joe holds on, does he? Here comes Reynolds again. Joe defending the inside of Rivage as Reynolds tries the outside, but there's no way through. And Joe does finally retake that second place that he appeared to lose in the pit stop. So 8th on the track at the moment, but net second we believe, as Leopard is being held up by Ghosh just in front of that. So that will open up the race, or will it? No, it won't, because Leopard flies past Ghosh as he runs a little bit wide going through Pujon. What a race this is turning into already, James. Incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no other words to describe this race at the moment. It is fantastic. I can't believe what I'm saying, to be honest with you. Gosh, didn't really do his teammate any favours. I wonder if he will through Blanchimont. Let's see what he'll do. He's just got to allow his teammate to go past. Let's see where Alonso and everybody else is as well. Alonso's behind Reynolds as well. Hasn't gained a lot there either. Martin now comes in. Let's see. Let's see what happens now in terms of the undercut. Sorry for cutting across.
It wasn't really letting him through, I have to say, Joe. He did eventually get through on the outside of Ghosh, through the through Blanchimont, and now Reynolds follows through as well. On goes, but Ghost is coming back. He's trying his best to help his teammate now. Trying to fight hard with Reynolds, fight hard with Alonso. Is he going to go back up the inside and get the move done? Yes, he does. He frustrates Reynolds, runs deep. Now Reynolds on the undercut. There's Martin on the inside of the fence. Just to get even more tasty. Martin in real trouble here. He's not up to speed. Reynolds tucked right up behind him as they approach Eau Rouge. Is there going to be any way through as they go climbing up the hill and over 190 miles an hour? Now the DRS will open for the Ferrari. Alonso, look at Alonso as well. This is absolutely incredible. On the run down towards Lecombe. Who's going to get the move done? Somehow Martin holds on, and Reynolds is going to be battling with Alonso side by side through Lecombe, then through Malmedy, and somehow holding on still is Xavier Reynolds. And if this race carries on like that, I'm going to run out of things to say. I'm going to run out of my voice box pretty soon, and somehow Reynolds fends off Alonso, somehow Martin fends off Reynolds, and Alonso coming back now in the run down to Poulon of all places, but he can't find a way through as Drawmaster finally gets past the mobile chicane that is Ghost Crab. Phew. Speak, James, please. I'm gonna die in a minute.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy. That bit of action that sums this season up in an absolute nutshell, doesn't it? Really does. Martin is so lucky that those guys found a squad with Gorsh. If Gorsh wasn't there, it would have surely been through wide into Lecombe. He now needs to get a move on though, because Joe is not too far up the road. We need to see what Hamilton does this race. Leopard is currently leading technically this Grand Prix. Net lead for Leopard then. And let's see. Here comes Alonso. Yeah, he's on the outside of Reynolds into the bus stop chicane. Can he get it all done under braking? You better believe he can. And he's kept ahead, I believe. Actually, no, has he got past? He has got past Reynolds now. And Alonso into P8 in this Grand Prix. Just phenomenal, this Grand Prix. Probably one of the best we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, there's a lot of contenders, but it's hard to argue with that. This is insane. I still don't know who's going to win this race, by the way. And the leaders, Leopard and Joe, are about to come up to the back of Kay and Langman and people like that who have yet to stop, so that could cause problems. Oh, no, it won't, because Leopard is making his move now on Kay, and he's going to get that move done. Perfect timing right before the brakes at Lecombe, and that will give him a little bit of breathing space. So Leopard, who's going to be on really old tyres, but because he pitted on lap 2, as we need to go back to Reynolds and Alonso, who are only a tenth apart. I mean, I think Alonso and Reynolds and Drawmaster, they've all lost a good bit of time here squabbling, and that's allowed Martin and Joe, well, particularly Leopard and Joe, to get a little bit further up the road, hasn't it? And Martin, that was so key, getting out in front of those guys squabbling, and that really has helped him. And it's hurt Alonso, Reynolds, and Drawmaster at the moment, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I really didn't think Martin was going to get the run coming up Eau Rouge. I just didn't see how he could hold the station up Eau Rouge. It just didn't look right. The car was so much slower than everybody else who were just coming out of the source, and he is so lucky that he's kept that. He really is. He's had to work for this win. He hasn't won anything. He hasn't won just to fight his way through the field so far. And Joe's going for a move on LK into Blanchimont. We go, and this time on the inside of Blanchimont, and he's got past K, and that's a pretty straightforward move from Joe, who knows he needs to get a wriggle on, because Leopard will not go down without a fight this race. This is going to be interesting to see. Two of the young guns going together in the Belgian Grand Prix.
It's only lap 9 out of 22. Goodness me, can we take much more of this? Leopard could win it. Joe could win it. Martin, Alonso, Reynolds or Drawmaster could probably win it. Maybe even Mike at this rate. It could be anyone of those guys at the moment. And I wouldn't even discount CRL Hamilton at the moment. He's cruising along out front on his super soft tyres, yet to make a pit stop. And I have to say, when he pits, and if he puts on a set of ultra softs, I don't know if he can reach that far to put them on, he will be coming flying through the field. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's what? 10 seconds ahead of Leopard at the moment. After this pit stop, he'll be really cutting that gap down. Seriously cutting it down. So that is going to be one to keep an eye on as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't help though, that he gets a 3-second time penalty as we're just about to cut onto it. He always seems to find a way, doesn't he, Hamilton? But nonetheless, we're going to see how these guys fare. Martin needs to get past LK. Now, Joe needs to know now, he needs to get a move on. Like I say, this is a pretty big point in the race, because if LK can hold Martin for just a few more corners, it's just going to disturb his run. This is really not a place where he can afford to make an overtake. There is a crash somewhere. It's Reynolds, and he must have been battling with Alonso. So how has that come about then for the Ferrari? He was started second. What a gutting way to lose it as well. don't know whether he's just dropped it through Pouon, but that's a big moment in this race for Reynolds, and he's just practically ended his race. That is a shame to see.
Yep, saw one for Reynolds. I don't know if we didn't catch it. Him and Alonso and Drawmaster were all in close proximity. So I don't know if he's dropped it on his own or there was contact there in the run through Pouon. The wing has been damaged as well as we watch Martin have a look up the inside of K into the braking zone and get it done. So through up into 6th place. Now you can see that Martin, Joe and Leopard are all together on the racetrack. So Alonso now goes through as K's come into the pits. Drawmaster moves up, and pretty soon you're going to get a very clear picture, folks, if you're watching, of how this race is shaping up. Hamilton, Hayden, Langman will pit. That will allow Leopard to take the lead from Joe, Martin, Alonso, Drawmaster and Mike, and they are all separated by just a few seconds as ILR Reynolds compounds his race even further with a 3-second time penalty, and his afternoon is pretty much done. We're 10 laps out of 22 out of this Grand Prix. We still have all 18 runners, and most of them are still running in this race in a competitive state, apart from, I would say, Reynolds and perhaps WOR King, who's just dropped like a stone clean out of contention after that promising effort in qualifying yesterday, James. A real shame to see him drop down, wasn't it?
It is a shame. It really is, because he looks. I mean, that could be the big story of the season, really. You go back to 2015, Romain Grosjean getting on the podium. That honestly would have been up there, because that. I mean, you would not have expected King. You don't see him that often. So when he does come about, that is a big statement. If he could do that more often, here goes Leopard. Actually, yeah, around the outside of Langman. What a tremendous move that was. We said he likes to get his elbows out. He weren't lying, was it?
I mean, I've seen a lot of people try moves around the outside on this track, but on the entrance to the Fania chicane, are you kidding me? I mean, that was absolutely sensational from Leopard. Left Langman standing still, and he's put pressure on Joe to now get the move done quickly as well. The pressure immediately switches from Leopard to get a move done to Joe to get a move done, because he cannot let Leopard and that Reynolds disappear into the distance. Is Joe going to go for a lunge up the inside? He sure is. He's in the Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo-esque manoeuvre.
Oh, rain!
Side by side as the rain begins to fall here at Belgium. Side by side goes Joe and Langman down towards the source, and the rain begins to fall. Are they going to spot the braking points? They are. Joe, up he goes into 4th position, and now Martin moves into position behind Langman. But I'm looking out of my commentary box window, and the fans are scampering for the ponchos. They're reaching for the umbrellas, and that, you know what? That's going to put Martin, no, wait a minute. That's going to put Hamilton and Hayden first and second in the Grand Prix when they change their intermediates, James.
What scenes this track just thrown up again.
Oh, Langman
absolutely incredible.
Langman off the road. There was contact there between he and, was it Joe or Martin? I think it was Martin. Off the road he goes, and he rejoins in front of Martin.
Gorsh has binned it up Eau Rouge. That must be the grip playing its factor. I'm not sure. These guys surely aren't that stupid. They'd have looked on the radar before the race and gone, there will be rain in this race, so why wouldn't you bolt on a set of super softs in qualifying, or even just, you know, let's see how far you can go. Why would you then put on another set of the harder compound tyre, the super soft or the soft? Surely you'd go back on another set of ultra softs. It's a bit of a mystery to me, but what's a big moment in this Grand Prix? Hayden is working his way and he's 1.3 seconds. This could be the story of the season. It's not gone away yet, ladies and gents. He's been dying for points, let alone podiums. This man is in P2 right now. What an amazing Belgian Grand Prix.
He's actually net leader because Hamilton's got a penalty. Hayden, let's just reset the situation here, folks. Hayden has been crying his eyes out for a measly one World Championship point or two all season long. He now stands beyond the halfway point of the Grand Prix, in the lead of the Grand Prix, and now he's hit the back of Hamilton into turn 1. No! Hayden, no, what are you doing, man? He's just thrown away what could be one of his best results in his history. I do not believe it. He's just locked up into turn 1 in the damp conditions, hit the back of Hamilton and damaged part of his front wing.
He could easily make a move, though.
He's going to make a move, yeah. He's still going to go past Hamilton, side by side. Hamilton pushes him towards the runoff area. That may get looked at by the stewards. Goodness me. And they're all struggling for grip now. Hamilton and Hayden really struggling. Hayden off the road at Lecombe as Martin and Apex and Danny are all in for a set of intermediates. This is going to go down for me as the race of the century, let alone the season. It's Hamilton in the lead from Hayden in second. Bear in mind, Hayden hasn't scored any points all season. Well, he scored a few, but not many. And Hamilton started this race in last. So that just gives you a situation here of what is going on. Meanwhile, the two guys that were hoping to be the leaders of this Grand Prix when those guys pitted in front of them are separated by 0.3 of a second. This is madness. This Leopard has a huge kick of oversteer going through Poulon. He's got Joe right behind him, and the rain is really starting to come down here now here at Spa. It's a really long lap, and the rain can be worse in other areas than it is where you're standing. And these guys are really struggling out the back of the track. Hayden, Hamilton, Leopard, and Joe all scrambling for grip out at Stamolo. This is absolutely ridiculous as the race control disable the DRS. It looks like it might have been a clever call from Martin, Apex, Danny and King James. Wow.
Absolutely, but let's not forget that front wing change is going to be vital in this race as Hamilton has nearly dropped it through. Oh, he nearly has dropped it through Bonchimon, and he's nearly hit somebody else there, Alonso. Oh, everybody else is going wide. Is everybody going to get into the pits? It reminds me of 2010 when all those conditions were just flying around. Let's see where Martin comes out in all this. Everyone in the pits now for a change onto the intermediate tyres. Martin should cruise into the lead of this Belgian Grand Prix. I don't know how he's managed it, but he will do it. Absolutely incredible. Let's see where everybody else comes out. Hayden comes out the pits. No, he doesn't. It's still Leopard. Will Martin come out ahead of any of these guys? Let's have a look and see. Leopard. Oh, Joe, no, they've kept ahead. They've stayed ahead, but I don't think Joe's going to keep it all together. He's going to squeeze Martin into the wall. Up Eau Rouge they go, and Joe, is unfortunately for him, not going to keep any further part in this battle, is he? Although Martin's nearly dropped it. It's got through a 3-second time penalty. Watch Joe on the run down to Les Combes.
Oh, this is absolutely incredible. What a call by Martin it was to fit those tyres, but it's going to be all in vain. He's logged on a 3-second penalty, and now Joe's steaming up the inside, up into second place. And would you believe it? Before the stops, we were expecting Leopard from Joe, then it all turned on its head, and now it somehow still is Leopard and Joe, 1 and 2 on the intermediate tyre. It just all went wrong for those guys that stayed out the lap longer. You've seen them all running off the road and looking for sympathy. I mean, you had Hayden off the road, you had Hamilton off the road before he even reached the bus stop chicane, and then everyone else just followed them off the circuit because they felt bad for them. And that has led to Martin bringing himself right back into contention here. But Leopard has stole a march. He's 2.2 up the road from these guys, and Martin's having a look into the Fagnes chicane. They're touching wheels in the Fagnes chicane, of all places. And Joe just about clings on. He grits his teeth and begins to try and find a rhythm in these ever-changing Belgian Grand Prix conditions. That's why we love Spa. It's a super circuit with incredibly difficult to predict when it comes to climate. What a race, James.
This is why we love the Belgian Grand Prix. People have criticisms of it, but you cannot discard this. Absolutely incredible scenes we're witnessing here. And Martin's actually nearly dropped it again on Blanchard. This is so crazy to see. These guys really cannot afford to get into any sort of contact because Hamilton's not too far behind. Mike's not too far behind Hamilton, but it is some 3 seconds, so still a long way to go for him. It's going to be such an interesting end to the Grand Prix. 8 laps to go. Oh, Joe's locked up through the source. Goodness me. Nearly lost it.
Very, very wide, but thankfully he was out on the karting line out there, so he got himself back up to speed and held on to his lead, his second position, and will surely cling on as they go up the hill towards Les Combes. But no, look at the straight line speed that Martin's got. He's eased onto his tail as Alonso picks up a 3-second time penalty. Side by side they will go on the run into Les Combes, and they're touching wheels again. But this time Martin finds a way through, up into second place. Joe drops to third as Leopard has a little lap to himself as he opens up the gap to 4 seconds with just 8 laps to go, pardon me. But yeah, it's Leopard leading from Martin second, Joe in third. CRL Hamilton, who started last, plumb last, is fourth. Mike Marshmallow is fifth. Alonso is in sixth as Hamilton picks up yet another time penalty. This race has been topsy-turvy from start to finish. You guys watching can try and pick a driver of the day. Good luck to you. I've got no idea who to give driver of the day to, but it's Leopard leading, Martin second, Joe third, Hamilton fourth, Mike Marshmallow fifth, and Alonso in sixth as they all slowly try to get to grips with these conditions, James, and who knows, it could get even worse. We might even see wet before the finish.
Yeah, it is getting pretty bad out there. It does look that way. A lot of these cars are still nearly dropping on the corners, and this is the trouble with the nature of this track, is there's so many corners that are flat out in the dry. None of these guys have done wet running, so they're finding their feet almost like tiptoeing their foot into the water now, seeing what they could, just testing the temperature almost. Let's see how much they can give through each of these corners. And the likes of Eau Rouge and Blanchimont and Pouhon, they're fantastic corners in the dry, but I'm sure they are a nightmare in the wet.
Yeah, very, very tricky. I mean, I've seen it down the years. I've seen it many times in ILR on PS4 actually, where the drivers just couldn't adapt to the conditions changing, because it is a track where you go flat out through a lot of corners, and you use the curbs. You rely on the curbs. You rely on the AstroTurf to keep you on the straight and narrow, and especially up through Eau Rouge. If you end up touching any bit of grass, any bit of curb in these conditions, you are going to have an absolutely enormous crash. As Mike Marshmallow runs a little bit wide through Eau Rouge, his heart would have skipped a beat there, and now he's got Alonso climbing all over the back of him as they go down the Kemmel Straight. Into the Rooster Tail goes the Toro Rosso driver. He won't be able to see much as he now pulls alongside into the braking zone, and up into 5th place he goes. And good move there from Alonso. Again, textbook stuff. Mike drops to 6th. And this race just keeps getting better and better. Meanwhile, further down the field, we've not been watching that far down the field much in this Grand Prix. Dralex and Kay are separated by just a few tenths, fighting over the rather meaningless 13th and 14th place. No points on offer there, but that is quite a close little battle on track. Finally, this race has begun to calm down, James, from the early drama. It is this battle, and the battle between Alonso and Mike are the closest ones on the circuit at the moment. DRS, of course, disabled, and you find it quite often actually in races on this game that when the conditions worsen, the action gets a little bit less, because with no DRS, which the drivers are so reliant on sometimes. We've had 2 retirements from this Grand Prix. We lost EVR Reynolds, who had encountered a few issues down at Pouhon and then received a few penalties and decided enough was enough. And of course we lost Gauss Crab, who had a major shunt as well. As now Dralex pulls alongside Kay. Is he going to make that move now? Side by side they will go down towards the Fania chicane. Is he going to also try a move on the outside there on the way in? He is, you know, and Kay is going to try and fight it all the way. They continue to go side by side. This is for 13th and 14th place, for goodness sake. What a battle! Still side by side they go, and Kay, incredibly, clings on but runs a little bit wide and nearly finds himself running into the barrier. And through goes Dralex up into 13th, and now Drawmaster, who's had a real fall from grace in this Grand Prix. He was fighting for victory earlier on the Super Swede, and the weather has really dampened his progress, and he's dropped back to 15th place of all places. Goodness me, that's a major drop from him. I didn't quite see what happened to him. Did you, James?
I've no idea. May have just got held in the pit stop, because there was a lot going on at that time, and people like Langman, his teammate, I believe, was actually ahead of him, which wouldn't have helped him in the pit stops. Would have probably meant they would have got held up in the pits. So there wasn't a massive gap between those two. That's probably why you're finding Drawmaster all the way down here in P15. He's having a rotten bit of luck. Britain was just a disaster for him, but it just needs to pick up a little bit for him again. He needs to find that form that has made him the Super Swede.
Yeah, the Super Swede that he is, and of course, like Alonso, as we've mentioned, Drawmaster Kimi Larsson has signed for Renault in the F1 eSports series, so I'll be cheering in. I'm a big fan of his, and hopefully he can do good things for Renault in the upcoming F1 eSports series. And as we said, Alonso as well, signing up for Sauber in the F1 eSports series. So good to have some ILR representatives here in the F1 eSports series. I quick mention as well to AVR Morsel, who's not with us today. He made it to the pro draft, but unfortunately missed out on a drive, the man from Belfast. But here is Drawmaster again onto the tail of Kay. Is he going to make a move? And Kay's way off the road actually, and Drawmaster is just going to dance past him up into 14th place now. So he's making progress, but I think it's going to be too little, too late to be looking at any sort of points haul. So let's have a look at CRL Hamilton, because he has really been on a charge and is now within range of Joe. Despite the penalties he's slowly amassed, CRL Hamilton on the charge, and he moves onto the tail of Joe. Can he get that Mercedes onto the podium now from 18th in the grid, plumb last? That would be an incredible achievement. His penalties might drop him down further, but if he wants to finish as high as he can, he needs to start moving past cars as the back end was way out as he went through Eau Rouge. And he was, for a moment there, I thought he was going for a one-way ticket into the barrier there, James, and then a little trip down to the hospital after that. What did you think?
Well, he's definitely heading towards Germany, I suppose. I guess that's the way we were going with that. But Hamilton, this would be his best result of the season so far. I'm pretty sure. I can't believe. I don't believe he's had a podium this year. Definitely not. So this is a huge result for him if he got back and choke. And it wouldn't even be a podium, of course, because he's got so many penalties that it doesn't even matter. So it's a bit of a disaster for him. But yeah, there you go. Third and fourth, battling it out. Let's hope we don't see any carnage like the last race.
Well, hopefully they can all keep it clean as we move into the final 5 laps. And TRL Martin, your championship leader, well, he's been in the thick of it all race long, but he's somehow, with that masterful call to go onto intermediate tyres, moved himself up into second place and into a really strong championship position with the two of his rivals, and Rosberg and Danny, only 1 point being scored by either of them, and that is CRL Rosberg currently holding on to 10th position, and with an 8.5 second cushion to Danny M7. It looks like the top 10 is pretty much sewn up, so Rosberg looks like he's going to get a point. He might get 2 if he can get past Langman in the remaining laps. There's only 7/10 between them. We will go to that in a few moments' time as we keep an eye at the moment on CRL Hamilton versus Joe. Joe locks up.
Oh.
Hamilton goes steaming in and runs into the side of him. He still bangs wheels. I don't think you can really blame Hamilton for that. Joe was way offline deep into the corner, and Hamilton was taking, well, a slightly hotter line into the corner than you usually would, and ended up hitting him. He now goes side by side into turn 1, and they make contact again, and Hamilton does get the move done again. But a few people will be saying there was some dirty driving there, but for me, it was a late breaking move, and it was just about acceptable. And Hamilton up into third, Joe back to fourth as they now climb up through Eau Rouge, through Radion they go, and Joe's coming back for more, it would seem. Down the Kennel
This is
Straight.
going to be aggressive.
Hamilton goes defensive. This is going to be aggressive. You're right. You've seen how much they're trading paint already in the last few moments. They're going to trade paint again, side by side. Oh, it's like Rosberg versus Hamilton up there. Alonso's going to love this. Alonso's going to close in on them. And Hamilton pulls onto that third place. And now, whoa, that was a late move. That was a late move. Joe then forced to the outside. Alonso joins the tussle, and you've got 3 cars all fighting over third, fourth, and fifth, and up the inside and holding on just as Joe, but Alonso's right up behind him, and there was some questionable things happening in that sequence there, wasn't there?
That was, I'm going to be blunt, that was absolutely ridiculous. Guys at this level should not be racing like that. It was absolutely absurd what they were doing there. I do not agree with cars just flying past. The heat's getting to their heads. It's not racing, I'm afraid, Andy. That is just aggression, and it's not. You know, the first couple of moves you could deem acceptable, but that stuff afterwards was just a bit far. It's just a bit too far for my liking. I'm not sure where you're taking it is. I shouldn't really have an opinion on these kind of things, but yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way.
Everyone's entitled to an opinion. I mean, I felt it was very harsh racing. I mean, perhaps at times overstepping the mark, particularly as they approach the second sector, but all of that trading paint and trading blows has just allowed Alonso to go onto the tail, so they've only compromised themselves in that sense. So Alonso now right into position, in 5th position, right up behind Joe as they go across the start finish line. Leopard still leads by 2.3 seconds to Martin. Is he going to get that victory he's been craving as Hamilton runs a little bit deep into turn 1? That should still allow him to get a decent exit as they go out of the corner. Is Joe going to come back for more as they go down towards Eau Rouge? Remember, tricky conditions in the intermediate tyres, and is it starting to dry up a little bit? You know what, it is. It is drying up as Hamilton was way out of shape at Radion, and now Joe is going to come searing past him without any doubt about it, surely. Hamilton squeezes him right towards the edge of the track, and here comes Joe on the inside. Are they going to touch again? Oh, not quite. That was a lot cleaner. That was a lot tidier, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that a little bit more, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Just far more just acceptable on the terms of racing. It's just better. But here comes Alonso round the outside of Joe as they end through turn 10, and he's not going to get him into pull-on or anything like that, because that would just be, with the heat under the collar of these guys, I just would not even risk it. But you're right, we were saying that the track is drying significantly. I wonder if it will dry out enough to perhaps see a little bit of action towards the end. Someone Hamilton, or actually more so Danny or Hamilton, Langman or Danny, those two, they really could gain from something like that, getting the dry conditions. Just buying on a set of ultra soft tyres and seeing how far they can go, and just bolting their way through, because they've got nothing to lose now. Alonso is losing the back on the Joe now. It's getting a bit scruffy for the podium places, but this is technically for the podium actually, Alonso versus Joe, so keep eyes on that, because Hamilton has of course got all those penalties, of course, so keep an eye on that.
One, too. Alonso definitely has one as well. I don't know if Joe does. Alonso's lost the rear. Oh my goodness me, how did he keep a hold of that one? Oh, there must be a little bit of poo coming out there, surely. Off goes Hamilton, and side by side goes Alonso and Joe. Hamilton now adds a further 10 seconds to his race. What's the point of turning up? I suppose he's now going to drop right down the order from there, and that's not good for him. I suppose I'm being a little bit harsh. It is extremely damp conditions. He's locked up and gone a little bit wide, and that all but throws any hopes he had of the podium out of the window. But how did Alonso cling onto that? I mean, goodness me, that looked like it was gone from the moment it started sliding.
Yeah, Andy, you won't like me saying it, mate, but even Pickford would be proud of that save. It was phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant. Let's see if Joe can get a move done into late call. I'm not sure he's going to make a move, but yeah, that was absolutely stunning. That's probably the best save I've seen in league racing. I'm going to go as far as saying that, because that was incredible. Absolutely brilliant car control from Alonso.
Meanwhile, Hayden has just gone up into 6th place. Hayden, mate, have you got a nosebleed? Look how high up he is. 6th. What a result that's going to be. He's just gone past Mike Marshmallow, who himself usually is the man that makes up all the places in the Grand Prix. He made them up really early on today, and now he's starting to pay the price for making the places up early on. That's not your style, Mike. You're meant to pick them up as the race goes on, not all right away, and he's now down into 7th position, so Hayden up into 6th, and I think Mike's tyres have gone past their sell-by date, to be honest. He's really struggling. I suppose everyone is out there now. Hayden 6th, Mike 7th, and Apex 8th. But I've got to say, did you have to mention Pickford? Did you have to, James? Could you not have said, I don't know, Craig Gordon or something, or Alan McGregor, I don't know, some
Craig Gordon.
Anyway, back to the action as Alonso.
Right, here comes Alonso.
Yeah, on the attack of Joe. He's going to go around the outside, is he? No, he can't. And Joe is just about holding on. Martin's only 1.5 seconds off the lead, by the way. But we'll keep an eye on this as Alonso tries round the outside of Joe. There's more contact. He's going to have the inside for the second part of the chicane. Lovely move. But Joe's coming back. Side by side down the start of the straight. Alonso moves across to try and cover him off. He can't do much more. Joe holds on. Alonso back up the inside he goes into the source. Is he finally going to get the move done? Yes, he is. Up into 4th place. Beautiful driving there. That's how you do it without banging wheels. What a move. But don't tell me Joe's having a look into a rouge. No, he's not. Thank goodness for that. And he decides better of it. He'll wait for another opportunity, which is coming his way as they go down the Kemmel Straight, down towards Le Combe. Defending to the inside goes Alonso. Joe on the attack. He's going to be forced to the outside. Can he sweep round the outside? No, he can't, because Alonso is a lot braver on the brakes and takes the position. So holds on to that 4th place now. Alonso up to 4th as Martin has really cut that gap down to under a second to TOR Leopard. And is Leopard going to throw it away from here? Surely not. Surely he's got it under control as Martin has a humongous moment and loses about 0.6 of a second going through, where was that? That was through the Pujon. So a real problem for him is Apex is now battling hard with Mike Marshmallow, who is continuing to lose places, it would appear. James.
Yeah, just like to point, throw a spanner in the work. If it stays as it is, Leopard cannot afford to get another warning. He does that, he's on the same number of penalties as Martin. And if he does throw it away, that is cruel. That is a very cruel way. And if there's going to be a man who's going to stop this winning streak, what a way to do it as well for Leopard. It's not quite over for him yet. He's still got 4.3 miles to just to cover. But I mean, what a tremendous Belgian Grand Prix this has been. Yeah, an absolute classic. One of the best ever. As DRS is enabled, it's certainly one of the best in all my years of commentating that I've covered, James. It's been an absolute cracker from start to finish. You didn't know what was going to happen next. At one point we thought Hayden was going to win the race. I was about to pass out when I seen that possibility crop up as Langman has a look at Rosberg, clips him and nearly sends him spinning.
Rosberg, of course, unseen by us due to so much happening, as Martin picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that ends all hopes of dealing with Leopard due to Hamilton's amount of penalties and the fact there's like 11-second gap between him and Hamilton. I think he's going to hold on to that second place. But Langman clipping Rosberg there into turn 1, and that was not what you want to be doing. And has Martin disconnected or something? I don't know what happened there. He's now 5 seconds.
He's got a
puncture,
lot of,
has he?
he's lost a lot of front wing. No, he's lost so much front wing. I don't know how he's done that. He could lose the podium here if he's not careful. He could quite easily lose the podium. He's got no left side of his front wing. That's incredible.
Oh my goodness, Martin, by the way, who got a puncture back in Bahrain when he was heading for victory on the final lap. Lost a massive amount of points, ended up finishing 8th. And look how much he's struggling here. Also in an AOR race, we've seen him crashing from on the final lap at Singapore. So there's every possibility here that Martin could be throwing it away again. And with a 3-second time penalty and a serious front wing damage, I think he might just creep home.
6 seconds.
6 seconds. Yeah, of course, 6. As Alonso has a huge amount of opposite lock trying to catch Hamilton. They are really, I mean, these tyres are bald now. They should not be on them at all. But we need to go to TOR Leopard through all the scenes, through all the action. Rain or shine, overtakes everywhere. We have got to go to TOR Leopard. He has been the man that has battled with it the best. He's combated the tricky conditions here at Spa, and round 7 of the championship is going to go to the Renault driver. A superb drive from TOR Leopard. He wins the Belgian Grand Prix here in ILR1 on Xbox. A superb drive, but we've got to go to Martin. He's going to crawl over the line on those destroyed tyres and that destroyed front wing second. Hamilton's going to be 3rd, but surely Alonso's going to take 2nd, or Joe maybe even. Joe does. Joe gets 2nd after all of that. He'll be delighted with that. Martin gets 3rd, Alonso is 4th, Mike Marshmallow 5th, Hayden 6th, Apex 7th, Hamilton down in 8th now and dropping further down. And 8th is where he ends, at Rosberg 9th, Langman in 10th. James, what a race. If I could swear, I would use a swear word to describe it. What an absolute stunner of a race.
That was absolutely phenomenal, wasn't it? No quarter given by any of those guys. I just can't believe what we've just witnessed. It's just a stunning, stunning race. Looking at Hayden, what a drive from him. What a drive. I'm so happy for 6. That is brilliant for him. Mike P5, that's another tremendous effort as well. Hamilton from 18th on the grid to finish 8th. Brilliant again. You know, it's just brilliant, isn't it? Martin from 11th on the grid. Didn't look like anything was going to come of this race, but it has, and what a race this has been.
Absolutely insane. I mean, where do you start to try and pick up a driver of the day? I mean, you could look at Martin potentially. I mean, you could have said Hamilton until he picked up all those penalties. Hayden, perhaps. I'm desperate to give it to Hayden. I really am. What a performance!
I am.
Well, there you go. We're going to give it to Hayden, folks. Hayden is our driver of the day. I suppose Martin, you could say, was a close 2nd for driver of the day as well, given how far up the order he gained. I mean, again, you have to give Leopard an honourable mention. Joe as well. Great performances, but Hayden for finally getting over the hurdle and scoring some serious points. You've got to give him a lot of credit. But there they are on the podium. TOR Leopard is on top here in Belgium. What a race. Possibly the race of the season. Possibly one of the best races I've ever had the privilege of commentating. In the sunshine, it was brilliant. Then the rain came and mixed the race right up. We had no idea who was going to win it. At one point, Hayden was your net leader, and it ended up with TOR Leopard on top. There is your full results of the Belgian Grand Prix. TOR Leopard winning for Renault with OMG. It's Joe in 2nd as he picked up no penalties. A very disciplined drive from him to come home there in the end. He probably didn't expect that when he saw the checkered flag. TRL Martin was 3rd. Alonso ended up 4th, agonising for him. Mike Marshmallow gained it up into 5th place with all those penalties. Hayden was 6th. TR Apex was 7th. Cyril Hamilton, with an enormous amount of penalties, was 8th. Rosberg was only 9th. Langman was 10th, and the other championship rival, Danny M7, got absolutely nothing, down in 11th place. What a race, and now it's time to go to the interviews, and I've got to go to TOR Leopard. First of all, what a result, what a race. We were struggling to try and, we were lost for words to describe it. What a race, come on, tell us, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's good to finally get a win in ILR. feel like it's been a long time coming. But yeah, Joe got past me in the first lap, and I felt like I was matching him. After he got past me, I was keeping up with him. Maybe was a little bit quicker, I don't know. And I was in a party with Hayden, and he told me rain in 10 minutes on lap 3, and I just decided to roll the dice, and so I might as well just pit now for the softs at the end of lap 3, go and get an undercut, and that's what I did. And jumped the likes of Joe and went to the rain, and thankfully had enough pace in the work to hold off Martin.
Yeah, it was in the end an inspired decision, because we were all, of course, in the commentary box. We don't know what the weather was going to be. We had no idea. So I mean, it turned out to be a very clever decision in the end. But when the rain came, Martin, I suppose, got the jump on everyone with the call. Were you concerned when the rain was coming down? Did you think that you were not going to be in the lead of the Grand Prix? Were you concerned that maybe the guys that hadn't stopped yet were going to be in your way and you'd have to fight past them?
When I saw Martin going, I thought, oh great, okay, this race is over. This is another win gone, I guess. But I was just very surprised to just see him a couple seconds behind. I thought if I was going to end up in front, he would be all over the back of me, but he still ended up being a couple seconds behind. So I guess it was very much around the crossover period where the Inters and the Slicks were kind of just as quick as each other. And then in the second half of the lap, it definitely was intermediate tyres.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. We were watching it, me and James, in disbelief as everyone trundled off the road, Belgium 2010 Grand Prix style, off at the bus stop chicane. Just about everyone missed the braking point, went sailing off the road. I think Hamilton was out of shape before he'd even reached the bus stop chicane. It was an absolutely crazy race, and well done, Leopard, for getting that victory in the end. And what was it like in the closing laps holding off Martin? He seemed to be on a bit of a charge, didn't he?
It was fairly intense. I knew he had a penalty, and I knew I was only one warning off, so I was kind of in that situation of trying to hold off Martin, not pick up a warning at the same time, which can be very difficult. I saw he was making a couple of mistakes through a Rouge, and I saw he made one and put on the penalty like that. I just saw him loose completely out of a Rouge and just relaxed and cruised home, really.
Well, that explains what happened to Martin. I suppose I would say go to Martin, but actually he didn't finish second in the end with all the penalties that were going on. Well done to Leopard, but let's move on to Joe. Joe, what a result that turned out to be in the end. I suppose you could say you're a championship contender. There's 4 people within 38 points. You're the one in 4th position. 2 of your contenders didn't get very many points at all. Danny got none. There was only 2 points for Rosberg, I think, in the end. So to come home second, that must have been a surprise when you got to the checkered flag, because I think you were about 5th or 6th on the road, weren't you?
I knew everyone had penalties, really, so I was expecting to get 3rd. But then I saw Martin on the mini-map. I don't know what happened. And then my teammate, who's already out of the race, said he had like a lot of front wing damage or something like that, and he was going slowly. So I was like, okay, second's on. So I just had to keep it on the road. But to be honest, not really happy with that result, because I was going to be on pole, but then I don't even know what happened. Cars were literally in the middle of the road, out of P1, so I had to get off my lap. And then I made it back at the start, got into the lead, and Leopard did the right strategy call going in early, but I was catching him to some degree. And then when we both pit, I was literally almost right behind him, but as I went into the pit lane behind Hayden, who obviously had stayed out, he crashed in the pit lane somehow. I have no idea how he did it. And his car didn't ghost, so that gave me front wing damage, and then my team just did not fix it. So for the whole inter stint, I had front wing damage, which was costing me so much time. Like, almost, it was like half a second in the middle sector. So I really think I could have won that race, considering where I was before that. But second's not bad, considering that. So yeah, it's a bit bitter, but it's not a bad result.
Yeah, I suppose it's not as bad as what it could have been. I mean, congratulations anyway on second. It seems like a case of what might have been for you then. Is that the best way to describe it? A day of what might have been?
Yeah, definitely. Pace, this is probably my strongest track on the game. Pace was looking very good, but just didn't have chance to show it really. I
And
had kept a good gap at the start on the dries, but as soon as the front wing damage was there, it was pretty much all over.
okay, and I'm going to ask you this as well. Shit, what was I going to say? Yeah, the championship, of course. So two of your rivals not scoring big. I know Martin did score big, the man that's leading the championship, but you've surely got to take positives in the fact that you've cut the gap a little bit. Maybe not as much as you want with only 3 races to go, but there is a positive in that at least, is there not, to take to the next one?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it could be a lot worse. I could have been 5th or 6th that race. But not sure if I'm still in front of Leopard in the championship, but it was very close between me and him.
I'll check.
But closing on Martin, championship leader, isn't all too bad, and there's still a possibility going into the last few rounds.
Yep, and I've got to go on to TRL Martin now. Martin, well, the championship leader. I mean, you could have said after 11th place in qualifying it was going to be damage limitation, but when you looked around you and you saw a lot of your championship contenders struggling a little bit, you must walk away from here pretty happy in the end with 3rd. I mean, I know it could have been better at times, it could have been worse at other times, but 3rd in the end, all things considered, is a decent return, isn't it, when your rivals are struggling?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I don't even know where I started that race. I don't know if it looked like on stream, but it was pretty. I had a lot of my play at that race. You're starting P11, coming with 15 points. Pretty chuffed with that. But yeah, obviously the start was really good. I started on fresh ultras. And I was really struggling with EVR Reynolds. His car was lagging everywhere. I'm not sure if Joe and Leopard had the same, but I was really struggling. Went for another cut. Managed to jump a lot of the guys in front on softs. Then the rain came, and obviously, like you said, everyone went straight on at bus stop, and I reacted instantly. I was in the pit straight away, because we know what Spa's like. It's a long lap. Conditions deteriorate pretty quickly. Found myself up to 2nd. Pace was really good, but I was really struggling through Blanchimont and Eau Rouge. Hence the time penalties, hence me flying into the barrier at 180 mile an hour on the last lap. Somehow, I have no idea how I didn't lose a wheel, but yeah, I'm really happy on the whole to get P3, and shout out to Leopard, he cotched up and got the win, and obviously Joe as well, drove well.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying there, everyone went straight on that lap, but yeah, you should have seen it on the next lap on the stream, Martin. Everyone was absolutely sailing off the road down there. Hamilton was off the road before he'd even reached the bus stop chicane. Oh, absolutely hilarious. What a race. I mean, you were saying you don't know what it was like at the stream in general. Honestly, it was utter chaos. It was great excitement for me and James to watch. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, as you say, 15 points. Everyone else struggling. Good result. And surely now you're inching closer towards that title. You must feel it's within touching distance now.
I'm not sure what the gap is, but yeah, but USA coming up, that's my worst track in the game, so that is damage limitation right there. But Brazil and Abu Dhabi, I like driving around those tracks. Not sure what the pace is going to be, but we'll see how it goes. 75 points is a lot of points, and today I could have easily come away with nothing unless I hit the wall pretty hard, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and you've got previous, Martin, with hitting walls late on in races or getting punctures late on in races, haven't you? So
absolutely. Absolutely.
The last thing I wanted to do was be sending you another photo of a dejected Valtteri Bottas, so yes. There you go. There you go. Martin escapes
Happy
with 15
days.
Points from one of the maddest races of all time. Yep, we have to remember, of course, that these drivers are, of course, fighting over a copy of the F1 2018 game come the end of this season. The winner of the championship does take one of those home, so there is real incentive for them to be battling hard to the end of the season. There, of course, is that added pressure as well, that they're actually fighting not only for pride, but for a little prize as well. But that rounds it up from me. James, have you got any finishing comments or any questions for the drivers?
I do have a few finishing comments for once, and that is the Drivers' Championship. We've already got the updates for you guys, so if you want to catch on stream, we'll do it now. That sounds like a good idea. So Martin still leads the Drivers' Championship by 27 points now. Absolutely huge amount of points he's gained out of that race. And 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, I believe, all within 6 points of each other. Wow. So it is absolutely crazy from there down. Joe is 2nd, Rosberg 3rd, Leopard is 4th, with Danny actually rounding out the top 5. It's joint on points between Rosberg and Leopard. What will Japan bring, ladies and gents? Well, you'll find out sooner or later.
Yeah, wow, Martin, if you don't mind, can you not turn up next week and we can have everyone within about 5 or 6 points? Goodness me, that is.
I agree with
Is
that.
it Japan next?
Yeah, there's no USA.
Yes,
it's
Japan. Yeah.
Oh.
Also, the
forgotten that.
Constructors' Championship. I just want to point this out quite quickly. Top 4 separated by 38 points. It's anyone's game in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Top 2 separated by just 9 points. It's Mercedes from Sauber, from Force India from Red Bull. But Gorsh needs to get his finger out his arse if he's going to help Red Bull out in that.
Yes, he
course.
bloody does.
Well, yeah, there you go. What an incredibly tight title race. Be sure to join us for the next one in Japan next week. It's been an incredible race here in Belgium. Well done to our podium finishers, and especially well done to Leopard for finally putting a victory on the board. That was Breathless. Be ready for some more Breathless action next week as we head from one classic track in Belgium to another across the world in Japan. It was a cracker. That's all from me. That's all from James. Goodbye. See you next week.